Backstage with Chris for some Cajun pork chops, where you could do steak or you could do chicken with this technique we're about to do. Gonna have some fun, gonna eat some good food.
I like it. If y'all can hear us and see us, just let us know in the comments below.
Absolutely.
Let's see, I got the comments pulled up here on my end.
And if you can't hear us, wave your arms wildly. I'm sure we'll see you.
Exactly. I'm sure we'll figure it out. We'll eventually get it. Janelle's here. She says, I would have loved this recipe earlier in the day for the pork ribs I have in the oven now. Maybe next time.
Ah, there you go. Well, this is technique that I'm going to show you. It can be applied to pretty much any kind of meat. I don't know if I would do fish, but pretty much any kind of beef, pork, chicken. And next time you do something like this, I bet you'll really enjoy.
For sure. Evelyn says, sounds yummy. She says she's going to catch the replay after the movie.
All right. Well, enjoy your movie, Evelyn.
Richard Williams is here. Says, good evening from Copper Hill, Tennessee.
Hello, neighbor.
Vicky Y says, hello, guys.
Hey, Vicky.
We got Bonita.
Hello, Bonita.
She says, good evening, Chris, Ash, and Mel.
Yeah.
We got 22Q Cat. We got Lynn.
Hey, Lynn.
Says hello to everybody. We got Randy, Rankin Cook Canoy.
There he is, my brother Randy.
He says, good evening, Chris Ashmel. Let's see. Looks like Randy's kitchen is coming along.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. I'm getting all these recipes ready. Once their kitchen is done, they're going to have to dive in and do some.
Absolutely. Lynn 22Q Cat said, awesome. Soon you will have these great recipes to try out in your new kitchen.
That's right.
Fun, Rankin Cook Canoy.
Yeah. Nothing like taking a brand new kitchen you've just remodeled and then getting it super dirty like something just exploded in it with all these recipes.
Yeah. We got Mary Kay Wesling from Kansas City, Missouri watching. She says, hey everyone. Addicted to Antlers in the house.
Hello.
They're watching from New Mexico. Reese's Clutter Kitchen says, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Your parents are watching. They say hello.
Right. Hello, Mom and Dad.
In the middle of a forest says, in my best mini Pearl voice, howdy.
Yeah.
I love
howdy.
Yep, howdy. I love that reference. That's awesome.
Great.
And we got Tara Baker watching from Midland, Texas. So lots of folks tuning in.
All right. Well, very cool. Everybody let us know what y'all are doing tonight, how everything is going. I put up a post a little earlier today. I was out getting some vitamin D and enjoying some sunshine because now that I'm doing this full time, I actually have the flexibility in my schedule to do that. I can sit out back of our townhome here in our little back patio and I can take my shirt off and get some vitamin D on my skin. I don't think they would have appreciated me doing that at work very much, so I can actually do that now. So yeah,
it's
good,
nice.
Good stuff. We were just talking about it before I came in the kitchen here. I was sitting in the living room and I had a couple of things pulled up on YouTube and was just watching a couple of videos and just kind of preparing to come in here and make dinner. And Ash and I were talking, it's like, how nice is it that I'm not rushing home from work, rushing through the door, trying to get the kitchen ready, jumping into a live stream. Like it's a really different experience for sure. So
yeah,
really cool. Really, really cool. We're going to do some good stuff.
Absolutely. We always enjoy our Tuesday night live streams, but with you actually being home and not rushing, they seem a little bit more chilled today.
Yeah, it's a little more relaxed, and I think this is going to be really good. So a couple of housekeeping things for you guys. I have linked in the description box down below, if you have not seen it already, my Chris Cooking Nashville Studios channel. A health vlog is going to be coming out tomorrow on this channel and on that channel, but ideally, go watch it on that channel if you don't mind. If you haven't subscribed to it yet, you can go over to that channel and subscribe as well. We'd really appreciate that. Of course, subscribe here if you haven't yet. And Ash actually has a single coming out. We're very excited about her single Cigarette coming out on Friday. Yeah. So I actually have that linked down below, the DistroKid link that will give you all the places where you can go find that. That is linked down below along with her website and her YouTube channel. So you can go and follow her on any of her social medias, subscribe to her YouTube channel, and get ready to listen to Cigarette coming out Friday. We're really excited to share that with everybody. So that's really cool. We're using the Typhur air fryer dome for this recipe tonight. You don't have to have an air fryer to do these pork chops this way, but that's what I'm going to use. I'll show you how to do that, but I'll tell you how else you could do it as well. I have the link for the Typhur dome down below for you guys. And these pork chops have been dry brined. So I also have the link for the California refrigerator. If you have not seen the steak dry brining video that I did, I use this refrigerator. It's like a dedicated dry brining mini fridge, and it's a beverage fridge. It's not meant for dry brining, but it's just a really great fridge with a nice glass front so I can keep an eye on everything I'm dry brining. It is perfect for this, and it has removable racks. I'll show you how great that is. I've got that linked down below, and I've got discount codes for both the Typhur air fryer dome and the California refrigerator. I'm also using my butter mayo tonight, so I have that video linked down below. If you guys haven't seen my spreadable butter mayo, that's what we're gonna be using for the beautiful remoulade sauce that I'm gonna show you guys how to make to go along with pork chops. It's great with steak, it's great with fish, it's great with chicken, it's great with shrimp, it's great with everything. It's just one of my favorite sauces in the entire world, and it's super, super simple, so. Yeah, so I think that's all of our housekeeping stuff. Yeah. So that's all the stuff going on. We got any questions or anything before we dive into these pork chops?
Yeah, a couple comments real quick. I think you would just love to hear why we're here. So Randy, Rankin Cookinoy says, Chris, still in the middle of a demo, but took a break to join your live stream.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate that.
Yeah. This one from Fantastic Family. Hello from Southern California. Those are my people, my Californian people. I've shared your page with some of my friends that are just starting carnivore so they don't lose hope, and I've tried some of them too. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you sharing. We hope that this is helpful for people, and it just makes my heart feel good when I know that people like the stuff that I'm doing and that this is helpful and inspires them to keep doing keto or carnivore, whatever they're trying to do. If this makes the journey and the transition, especially from a standard diet over to something like carnivore, if it makes it easier, makes me very, very happy. So, yeah.
Your mom says that Dad made your noodles today, and I'm making gorgonzola chicken right now to go with them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what my parents think, because my parents are actually the first people to try the new modified version, modified approach to those ramen noodles. If you guys haven't seen, I did a ramen noodle video with a brand new technique for making noodles. I then modified that a little bit and made a different kind of noodle in my last live stream. And I told my parents how I did it. I actually gave them the instructions because I wanted to see what they think. So they are having the Chris Cooking Nashville spaghetti-shaped noodles done this particular way for the first time. They're the first people other than Ash and I to have them. So pretty interested to see what they think.
Yeah. Lynn Danielson says, was thinking about cooking up some pork chops tonight. So excited to see how you do yours.
Yeah, this is going to be really, really good. So, and now I do have mine dry brined. They've been dry brining for like 2.5 days. But even if you don't dry brine them, you can still do this, and it still tastes amazing and fantastic. But the dry brining does make them just that much better. So.
Cassie Julish says, hello from Houston.
Hi, Cassie.
Dr. Barry was singing your praises in his live last night.
Yes, I got a couple of shout outs from Dr. Barry and Nisha last night. They're very, very sweet, wonderful people. It was so just warming to have them say those things on his live stream last night. And I love Dr. Barry and Nisha. They are the reason that I was able to figure out how to use keto and carnivore to just completely change my life. And I'm a member of the tribe, and I love them so much. I'm going to be doing actually some more stuff in the private group. So if you guys are interested, you can go to, I think, drbarry.com now. I think they have his main website working again, I believe. You can go to Dr. Barry's website, or you can go to any of his links, find his private group, the tribe, the PhD community. You can go there. It's like $5 a month. It's super inexpensive, but you get some access to great information from both him and Nisha, as well as the coaches. And there's just a bunch of really cool stuff. There's a great community over there. And I actually do some private event stuff in there where I do some cooking things, kind of like this, but more tailored to the PhD and the community that's over there. And I'm actually going to be doing a lot more of that starting soon. Now that I'm here full time on YouTube and doing this kind of stuff, I have the time to do it. And I'm going to be working with Dr. Barry and Nisha over there more. So if you guys would like to see some of that stuff, go join Dr. Barry's community. It's a really great resource just for your own health and your own assets. And it's going to be a lot of fun to do some cool stuff over there. And when I do those things over there, that's the only place I'm going to do them. It's a little way I can say thank you to the community and Dr. Barry over there by just doing some little special videos that, you know, that are never going to be shared publicly. They'll just be there for the group to be able to enjoy. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Southern Keto's in the house.
Hey, Victor, I was just watching your fettuccine Alfredo recipe. If you guys haven't subscribed to Southern Keto, you need to go over to Victor's channel, Southern Keto, and subscribe and watch that Alfredo recipe he just dropped today. It looked good.
Very good. Yeah, he says first full-time live.
Yes.
Awesome. Congrats, Ash.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's very exciting.
Yep, we have really great stuff going on and have the time to finally focus on it. So it's making us happy.
Definitely.
So.
Lynn says Chris's butter mayo is life. Life is all in capitals. And then she said, make it exclamation point.
Yes. You know, it's one of those recipes that it's very simple and it's just amazing. But the fact that it stays spreadable straight out of the fridge makes it so much easier, and it just goes good on everything. And you can make sauces and deviled eggs and all kinds of stuff with it. It's just easy. It's so good. It really is amazing. So.
Yeah, and also, sorry, honey, really quick.
Yeah.
So, Cindy Patton she left a couple comments on here, and I just want to make sure she knows that we see her comments.
Yeah.
She's talking about how she was a member and then something happened, and I think we need to figure out how to help her get back on. So I'm going to have Cindy send you an email.
Okay.
So that way we can, I don't want to just talk about, her personal information online.
Yeah, for sure.
What email can she email you at so we can help her get set back up with membership and stuff like that?
Yeah. info@chriscookingnashville.com, or you can just go to the website, chriscookingnashville.com. There's a contact page on there. The website also has the email, or you can even find me on Facebook or Instagram or any of those places, Chris Cooking Nashville.
Yeah.
Send me a message. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'll be glad
so
to help you. Just shoot a message.
So Cindy, just shoot us a message and we'll help you out. She also says, I love both of you guys. I love Chris. I refer him to everybody. I've tried several of his recipes and they've all turned out great.
Oh, we really appreciate that, and we're so glad that you're here, and we'll be more than happy to help. So
Cool.
Awesome. Well, if you guys have questions, drop them down below. I'm going to show you how I'm going to get these kind of things going here with the pork chop. So we're not using the stove tonight. We're not using a cooktop over here tonight. Ash was actually like, don't you need a cooktop? I was like, no, I'm using an air fryer tonight. So over here I have the Typhur Dome air fryer. I'm going to turn this on and I'm going to preheat this at the maximum temperature. Now, you don't have to do this, but you get a better crust if you do. So I'm going to preheat this at the maximum temperature, and I'm going to get it really good and preheated. I'm going to give us a good 10 minutes of preheating time. Usually 4 to 5 is plenty, but I'm also going to be dealing with the pork chops while we're doing this. So I'm just going to give myself some extra time, get it really good and preheated. And I'm going to go ahead and pull out these pork chops. Now, these have been dry brining in this fridge for, like I said, about 2.5 days. You can see they're very dark, and I'm going to tell you what's on them. So these have been coated with a light coating of Tony Chachere's. I'm probably not saying that right. There's someone out there who is Cajun, I'm sure, who will tell me it's wrong. But this is what I have on these pork chops. And I actually have this link down below for you guys, an Amazon link. This is my favorite, like, Creole Cajun style seasoning because there's no sugar in it. It doesn't have any added sugar. So it's like a 0 carb, minus the trace amounts you're gonna get from just actual seasonings, but there's no added sugar of any kind to this. And it's really fantastic stuff. So I actually get this in like these large containers and keep it around. I don't use it all the time, but when I want something kind of Cajun, Creole, spicy, this is my favorite. So I used that. I put a thin coating of that on both sides of the pork chops. I also added a little bit of thyme, like dry thyme leaves, because thyme and Cajun food, they work really well together. So I did a little bit of dry thyme. Then I did the Creole seasoning on both sides. I stuck this in the refrigerator and I left it to sit there and dry brine for like 2.5 days. It was a couple of days ago. So to prep these, I'm just gonna pull out a plate. I've got a little bit of bacon grease in a container. I'm just gonna melt that down. You do not have to use a microwave. If you're one of those people that doesn't like microwaves, you can heat the bacon grease however you want. But we're just gonna heat the bacon grease up just to melt it down. I'm just going to brush a little bit of bacon grease across these. Now, these are tacky because they've been sitting out in the open air on the rack. This is what I love about that mini fridge so much. These racks just slide in and out. So I can put these directly on the rack, dry brine them. I slide the rack out. I bring it over here. I'm going to finish what I'm doing over the sink, and then I'm just going to wash the rack from the refrigerator and stick it back in the fridge. So it's really, really easy. I don't have to take up extra room in my large refrigerator, and it just makes cleanup super, super easy. So I've got some melted bacon grease here. I'm just going to brush these pork chops with a little bit of bacon grease. I'm just going to use a pastry brush, so nothing too crazy and fancy here. And I'm not even brushing hard. You just need a little light coating of some bacon grease. This is just going to help get everything start to crisp up and become brown, because when you put this in a hot air fryer, we want it to sizzle a little bit, right? And when you do that, the fat that is in the pork is kind of what we want to get crispy, but because that fat is cold, it's going to take it a minute before it really starts to render out. Now these are a little bit thinner pork chops. I would have liked to got thicker pork chops. These are probably 3/4 of an inch thick or so. This is all they had at the store, and they were on sale, so that's fine. Since they're a little thinner, I left these cold. If these were 1.5 inches thick or so, maybe pushing 2 inches thick, which is how I'd really like to get them, I would let these come to room temperature on a plate or on this rack, sitting out for maybe 45 minutes to an hour before I would do this. But since they were so thin, we're just going to leave them cold. That way the center of it does not overcook before I can get some color on the outside. So if you got really thin pork chops, leave them cold, throw them in your air fryer. Now, if you don't have an air fryer, or if you don't want to use an air fryer, you can do what I'm about to do in a nice hot skillet over a medium-high heat. You could even do this in an oven on a rack. I'd say like 475 degrees. Timing on that, I don't know off the top of my head how long I would tell you to do, but I'd put them in there and probably start checking them at maybe like 10 to 15 minutes in a 475 oven. You're not going to get as nice of a crust in an oven as you would either on a skillet or with like an air fryer or something like that. It's not going to be quite as nice coming out of an oven. It's going to be a little softer, a little lighter, but if you're okay with that, you can totally do that. Okay, so we've got that side with a little bit of fat on it, and that bacon fat is going to kind of congeal back down because those pork chops are cold, which is actually cool. That holds it onto the pork chop really well. So this is a 1-to-1 mixture of egg white powder and beef gelatin. That's all it is. You just mix even amounts of egg white powder and beef gelatin, and we're just going to sprinkle this on almost like a seasoning. We don't need much. A little thin coating though with the beef gelatin and that egg white powder is just going to be almost like we floured these, and it's just going to help you get a little more of a brown crust. And we don't need any more than that. It's a very light coating. And you can also see I'm holding my hand up high, because this is something when you season things or when you're trying to put a light coating of something on, do it from up high, because what happens is the seasoning or whatever it is that you're sprinkling on something, as it falls, it has time to kind of come out because of the air pressure. So instead of getting great big clumps all in one spot on whatever it is you're trying to sprinkle this on, it helps it to spread out more evenly, so you don't get like gigantic clumps of stuff on your food where it's like way too salty or way too peppery, or like a big clump of egg white powder or something like that. It just helps you get a more even coating. So little things like that make such a difference in the kitchen, because you don't have to fight against your ingredients if you just use the right technique. Okay, so that's that. We're just going to flip these over now, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, just like that. So I'm going to brush these down with bacon grease and add some egg white powder to them. Any questions or anything while we're greasing these up? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Rankin Cookinoi, Randy.
Yeah.
Just gave you a $19.99 super thanks.
Oh, Randy, my brother, you, sir, are a true OG.
He says, Chris, so glad you were able to do YouTube full time. Eva and Riley say hi. Ash, looking forward to your single release. You guys rock. Thank you.
Randy, you rock. We appreciate you. Hi to Eva and Riley. And we just hope you guys are having an amazing night. We can't do this without people just like Randy. You know, it takes time and it takes money and all the stuff to do this, and especially since I'm trying to do it full time, like it's people just like that support what we do, that we just hope this means enough to you guys that it's helpful, and we just really appreciate that kind of support. So thank you so much, Randy, and everybody else who supports us in doing this.
Yeah, y'all are such a blessing. Mary Kay Wesley wants to know, are these pork chops spicy?
Yes, these are spicy because of the Creole seasoning, but you wouldn't have to do that. So if you wanted to do something, really any kind of seasoning mixture, if you didn't want to do like a spicy Cajun mixture, if you wanted to do, you know, any kind of seasoning mixture that you like, all you have to do is put the salt on the pork chop before it goes into the refrigerator to dry brine. Give it at least 12 hours is good, but you know, anywhere from 12 hours to 3 days, really. It goes into the refrigerator and it dry brines on a rack of some kind where air can circulate all around it. And then the rest of the seasonings, you can either put them on when you put the pork chops into the refrigerator, or if you'd like, you can season them right before you put them in the air fryer too, because the rest of the seasonings, unlike salt, they're not going to dissolve and soak through. So salt, because the salinity changes on the outside, it dissolves, and that salt actually works its way through all of the cell membranes and walls and goes all the way through the meat. The rest of your seasonings aren't going to do that. So you can put them on the meat like I did, or you can just put them on the outside right before you throw it in the air fryer or in a skillet or whatever. So
awesome. Sissy Frank says, hi from Seattle. I'm getting hungry.
Hello. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, we are too. I've been fasting all day. I had a couple of bites of some beef jerky that I've made that we have in the fridge, but other than that, I just kind of fasted most of the day, and I am definitely ready for dinner. I'm definitely hungry.
For sure. If you guys have questions, by the way, for Chris, anything you like to know, we're open books. Just drop them down below in the comments.
Yeah, if you put like a Q or even 3 Qs next to it to let Ash know that it's a question too, it just makes it easier for her to see it as she's watching the comments scroll by, to make sure we don't miss anyone's question if we have the ability to hopefully answer for you.
For sure. We always try to get to as many as possible, if not all. Also, if you're watching, could you hit the thumbs up and share it for Chris? That would be awesome.
That would be amazing. Let people know we're here and that we're doing this, because we'd like to tell them.
Yeah. 22Q Cat says, when I first found your channel, I ordered egg white protein and gelatin. Wondered what I'd do with it all. Ha! Now I buy in huge containers. Looks like I have a cooking channel myself.
That's right. That's right. Well, I'll tell you what, it's one of the things, you get your kitchen all stocked up and people are like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is nice and hot. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our pork chops, and you guys might be able to hear this. I don't know if you can hear that sizzle or not, but that nice little bit of sizzle when we lay that pork chop in there is exactly what we're looking for. And if there's any question about how large this Typhur Dome air fryer is, I mean, that's 4 pork chops flat in this air fryer. So this is gonna go back in. And because these are thinner, I want to try to get a color on the outside as quickly as I can without overcooking that middle like we were talking about. So I'm going to put it on air fry, and I'm going to set this at 425 degrees. And we're going to start with 10 minutes. And we'll double check, we'll see how they are after 10 minutes, but probably 10 to 12 minutes should do. And what we're going to do is we're going to flip them over halfway through just to kind of get some even cooking on both sides of those pork chops. Okay, so here's the cool thing. I'm just gonna take that rack from the refrigerator and set it down in the sink there, and after we have dinner, we'll just wash that baby off, and it goes right back in the fridge, ready to dry brine more meat. So instead of having to use a cookie sheet and a separate rack and having to wash them and having to store them and all that other kind of stuff, I just slide those racks in and out of the refrigerator, put the meat directly on it. If you have different kinds of meat in there and you want to put something between them so that one doesn't drip on the other, totally fine, but this makes it a lot easier.
Lynn Danielson said, I need another fridge for air drying / brining meats. Not enough space in my current fridge and freezer.
Yep.
We relate.
That's the exact problem that we run into, which is why, you know, Califort reached out to me and they said, hey, would you like to do a video with us, a collaboration video? We'd love to send you this refrigerator. And at first I was like, no, I'm not going to do that, because I don't know what I would do with a beverage fridge. But then I got thinking about it and I was like, Actually, I could do something totally different with it if you guys are okay with it. And that turned into the video where we turned the fridge into a dry brining chamber, essentially. So, and it honestly, it has been a fantastic addition to the kitchen here because I like to dry brine stuff a lot, and I have too much stuff in the refrigerator as it is. So, okay, so let me grab a couple of things here, and I'm going to show you guys how we make a really nice little remoulade. So I got that. Yep. Okay. So this is about a half of a cup of butter mayo, and you can adjust the amounts of all of this stuff depending on how you want your remoulade to taste. You don't have to add everything I'm adding. You can add more than I'm adding. You know, if you're super strict carnivore, just stick with the mayo. It's great by itself. But if you want to be a little more interesting, this is about 2 to 3 tablespoons of capers, which are just pickled buds of a plant, basically. And I'm just gonna run a knife through these and dice them up. You can use more if you want. You use less if you don't want as much. You don't have to use them at all if you don't like capers. I really like them. They're very tangy. They're salty. They're really nice. So we're just gonna dice up a couple of tablespoons, probably two, maybe 2.5, pushing 3 tablespoons of capers there. And you don't have to cut them up, but when you cut them up like this, I feel like the flavor just combines much better with the remoulade.
I'm so excited for this, by the way.
Ash loves remoulade.
I do.
She loves remoulade. So, I mean, I do too. This is one of our favorite sauces that I make for stuff. So, okay, so the capers just go in on top of the mayo. And this sauce comes together super quick. If you already have the mayo made, this is a great, great sauce. This is amazing with chicken. It's amazing with steak. It's amazing with pork. It's amazing with fish. It's great to dip like cocktail style shrimp in. That's what I always used to love when I was a kid, because I wasn't a huge fan of cocktail sauce as a kid. I loved having this with my shrimp. Okay, so that's capers. The next thing, tarragon. Very common in French cooking, but especially important if you're gonna make a really nice remoulade like this. And I'm just eyeballing this, but I'm gonna put in like a teaspoon or 2. Something like that. It's not real vital. And then black pepper. And again, adjust these things to your taste, right? I'm putting in maybe a half teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper because we really like pepper. Okay. I'm gonna add in, for that amount right there, I'm gonna add in about 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. You can use any kind of mustard you want, but I really like the flavor of Dijon in this. But you need some kind of mustard-like thing to kind of cut through the mayo there. I'm gonna do, that's probably about a tablespoon actually. Just eyeballing all of this, because cooking by instinct teaches you a lot of different things. Just cooking visually makes you kind of fly through the kitchen. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of hot sauce, like a 1/4 teaspoon. It's not even enough that you're probably gonna know that it's in there. Like if you tasted this, you wouldn't go, oh, that has hot sauce in it. It's just enough though that the acid and that spiciness of the pepper starts to cut through. Okay, so then we're just gonna mix this all together. Okay, and it's time to flip the pork chops. So let me show you what they're looking like here. Okay, you can see we're starting to get some color on there. That beef gelatin and that egg white is starting to brown along with that bacon grease. So we're just gonna flip these over, and you can see the nice color on the bottom side because we preheated that air fryer. So we're just gonna flip those over like that, back in for the next 5 minutes. Just like that.
Cool.
Okay. So we'll finish up our remoulade. Now, remoulade is one of those sauces, it's great after you first make it. It's way better if it sits overnight in the fridge because all the flavors combine, it just gets that much better. Okay, so now we got to double check the seasoning, see if there's anything else we want to add. It's very good. I want a little bit of a brighter note because it's very fatty because it means mayo. A little splash of lemon juice. And it's like a teaspoon. Anytime you taste something, if it tastes kind of flat and fatty and you just want it to be a little bit more refined, a more rounded flavor, more balanced flavor, if you're okay with it, using a little lemon juice in your diet, put a little teaspoon of lemon juice in it. Or however much lemon juice, but just a little bit of lemon juice will really lift and brighten something like this, just a little tiny bit. And that's perfect. Okay, one more taste, make sure we're happy with that. Yes, much better. Just that little bit of difference, but it makes a huge difference. That's the kind of stuff that you go is, when you do this and you get more experience cooking, knowing like, okay, you taste the sauce and you're like, oh, I just want that a little bit brighter, I'm gonna add a little bit of lemon juice just to lift it. Like those kinds of things, it's small differences. Little things make the difference between yeah, that was pretty good, and man, that's the best I've ever had in my life of whatever it is. That's the difference. It's those little things and balancing it out. And if you get it just right, it makes it so unbelievably good. I'm gonna go ahead and pull out a couple of plates here because I know I'm hungry, and if I know my wife, I'm pretty sure that look on her face that I'm seeing behind the camera is, hurry up, I'm getting hungry.
Yeah.
I don't blame her. I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, yeah. You basically have like remoulade and you got pork, and I mean, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Pork fat and remoulade. How could you go wrong?
Right. Say no more.
That's right.
What you got here?
Just a little bit of parsley, purely for garnish. I mean, you could cut some up and put it on top if you want, but just have some parsley left over, and it's not going to last much longer in the fridge, so we're just going to pull some out here and give ourselves a little pretty plating. My great-grandmother, Alma Shazer, always used to say that you eat with your eyes first, and I never met her. She passed away before I was born, but she is the person in our family that all of the family recipes came from, and I've learned so much about cooking because of her recipes and because of her philosophy of cooking, and keeping her memory alive is a really important thing for me. But she always used to say, you eat with your eyes first, and it's really true. You know, you don't have to always make everything look like it comes from a fine dining restaurant or something like that. But if you just take the time to try to make the food look nice, like try to think about the way you plate, try to think about the color of the crust, try adding a little seasoning because it makes it look a certain way, try throwing a little parsley on the plate, like just little simple things like that. You just do little things like that. It's really, really nice. So, all right. And those are perfectly cooked at 10 minutes. I don't need to cook them anymore. But you can see we have a beautiful brown color. They're nice and sizzly. They smell amazing. Mm-hmm. You can really smell the thyme, the herbiness of this. So we got a couple of pork chops each there. This Typhur air fryer just does an amazing job. I've used a number of different air fryers. This one is the best by far. I mean, it's significantly better at doing what it's supposed to do than the other air fryers I've used before. So, and we need a good healthy dose of remoulade. I'm telling you what, once you guys taste this remoulade sauce, you'll understand why you need a, as I say, a healthy dose. I always, when I make this, I always make sure to make a little extra so that we have plenty, because we always get down to the bottom of the bowl and there's a few bites of something left and it's like, yep, I'm gonna finish that up. Okay. Remoulade. And
What you looking for, hon?
oh, there it is. I couldn't remember where I put the black pepper. A little black pepper. Garnish. Cajun pork chops. Faux dinner. Very, very simple. I told you guys this is going to be an easy one tonight. Super easy one tonight.
I mean, that's pretty awesome though, because I think, I mean, minus the, time they were in the fridge doing their thing, that's probably about 20 minutes and dinner served.
Yeah, that's about a 20-minute recipe. So, and I mean, honestly, getting the pork chops in the fridge to dry brine and like doing that whole process, it takes 5 minutes to season them, and put them in the fridge, and you don't have to do anything else with them for a couple of days. Mm-hmm. And then when it is finally time to cook them, like they go in the air fryer, or like I said, you could do it in a skillet, get them nice and brown on both sides, use like the bacon grease, cooking them in the skillet kind of thing. And let's just kind of, you're really supposed to let them rest for a few minutes, but
You're hungry,
I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Beautiful, juicy. You can see all the juice on the plate there where I just cut that.
Yeah.
Smells fantastic. Probably gonna burn my face off, but I don't care.
Is it yummy?
That's an understatement. They're very tender. They're very juicy. Well seasoned all the way through. And the remoulade sauce is just killer. And the combination of the thyme on the pork and that remoulade and a little bit of spiciness of the Cajun seasoning, I mean, that is really just something special. You want to try it?
Yeah, sure.
You wanna
Here,
try it?
I'll just set the camera down.
Yeah.
Let's see here. If you want to step back a little bit there, that would be awesome.
Yep. I'll just get out of your way. There's yours.
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh, so unbelievably good. Mm-hmm. So, and the
Oh.
fat around the edge starts to get crispy.
And for those wondering, where's Mel making her appearance?
It's dinner time.
Right on time, man.
It's dinner time. She's here.
Yep. Right on time.
The crispy edge of the fat is juicy. It's so good.
Wow.
So good. Man.
Wow. Man, I'm just going to say it. You should have like a cooking channel or something. You really might want to think about this.
Yeah. Maybe I should be a cooking show guy, huh? Mm-hmm. Wow.
That is the best pork chop I've ever had
Yeah?
in my life. And I've had a lot of pork chops.
I've made pork chops for you too, so.
Oh, my Nana used to make them once a week, like when I was a kid growing up.
Yeah.
They did not taste like that. God bless her.
Yeah.
But those are incredible. Best pork chop I've ever had.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, those are incredible. The dry brining makes such a huge difference, and then that air fryer, that Typhur Dome, it's amazing how well that thing does. So I know Victor has a video on his channel where he did several things with the Typhur air fryer dome too. He and I were talking about that. He loves it just as much as I do. So it is really a great piece of equipment. They're not cheap.
Right.
You know, there's cheaper air fryers on the market, but it's also one of those things that it's like, sometimes you kind of get a little bit of what you pay for, and I have to say I've used cheaper ones and they do not do as good of a job. So any air fryer will do a decent job. This one just does something special. So
It's interesting to me as someone who doesn't really cook. Because like we've owned a lot of different air fryers.
Yeah.
With this one though, I can taste a difference.
You can taste it.
It's really noticeable for sure.
The evenness of the cooking, I think, that's created by the dome shape and like the way it's designed, being flatter like that, it just does an incredible job.
Yeah.
It really does. So, well, guys, that's the Cajun pork chops. Y'all got any questions for me?
We do. Let me sorry.
All right.
I gotta get. I got
Ash
my
is-
cameras and my phones and
Ash
my
is gonna
sling and my.
Ash is gonna pop a squat, and I'm gonna have one more bite of this pork chop because I'm having a hard time not eating it right now.
Well, I can't blame you. It's delicious. It's so good.
Yeah.
So lots of people like the Typhur air fryer. Let me get back up here to some questions. Rosie wants to know, what are the main ingredients that you keep in your pantry for your recipes?
It's a great question. So, the egg white powder, the Now beef gelatin, the Now brand beef gelatin, that's my favorite, but just some kind of unflavored gelatin. I keep egg white powder and beef gelatin in large containers. Every time I order a new one and it's like, it shows up in these big containers, Ash is always like, oh my gosh, more egg white powder, more beef gelatin, whatever. But I use it so much because of the recipe experimentation. I've always got those two things. I always have, because I do some of the keto stuff, be it for Ash or friends or recipe videos here or whatever, I've always got some allulose. That's my favorite sweetener of the keto sweeteners to use. I don't eat very much sweet stuff, but on the rare occasion that I do, that's my preference. We have a bunch of Keto Chow because I do work with Keto Chow, and we also have a bunch of salty packets because we love our electrolytes, and that's also through Keto Chow and Salty are like co-brand things. So my Keto Chow link is down below if you like any of that kind of stuff. And then I always keep like hot sauce, and I keep mustard of several different varieties. Because those are both zero carb, and even on a carnivore diet, neither of those has ever caused a problem for me. So if they bother you, don't use them, but for me, they don't bother me at all. I can use those. I keep several different spices on hand. I always have garlic powder and onion powder. I always have paprika and chili powder. I have black pepper. I have white pepper. Good salt, like Redmond's salt. I've got a 50-pound bag of that in the pantry there. I have iodine drops because I use iodine all the time. We have that every day. I have a few things like cinnamon and allspice and nutmeg because I use those kinds of things in like chili or like holiday type dishes. And I have a little bit of like a cayenne pepper, like a red pepper, in case I want to add a little bit of spice to something. I don't do it very often. I have some herbs, thyme, oregano, and tarragon, and sage, like the poultry seasoning, some things like that. That's pretty much the foundation of everything. And then I have my fridge staples. I've got like some no sugar added ketchup for when Ash wants to do something, or if I, on the rare occasion, want to have something like that, we prefer like a no sugar added ketchup. And then, yeah, I have a few odds and ends, but I mean, those are really the staples. We've always got heavy cream. We've always got lots of butter. I've always got a bunch of meat, and I've always got a bunch of eggs. And that's pretty much what I have at all times. Oh, and of course, big bags of coffee beans.
Yeah.
Always coffee.
Always.
Always coffee. That's pretty much what my pantry and some of my fridge looks like at all times.
Cool.
So.
Brian Kanoy wants to know, Chris, any more thoughts regarding a cookbook?
Yes. I don't know about timelines just yet. I have to do some more research on figuring out what we need to do to like probably self-publish a book, because getting a publisher to pick up your book and go to the trouble of publishing it can be a difficult thing. And then, of course, they're going to take the publishing rights, and there's a whole bunch of different things there. So I have to go through the process of sort of researching how you self-publish and actually then sit down and write it. And then we have a friend who's a professional photographer that does like product photography, and food photography and those kinds of things. He'll probably do photos for it so that we can actually put it together. I plan to have an ebook version as well as a hard copy version because I want to make sure people have both options because I've had requests for both specifically. So I'll make sure to have both of those, but I'm hoping maybe like early next year. Maybe before then, but realistically, probably early next year. Hopefully, we would have that written, published, the photos done, like all the things. So
yeah, absolutely. Just want to say hey to Debbie Savings.
Hi, Debbie.
She says hi, Chris, Ash, and all of our awesome keto carnivore community.
Yeah, I saw Debbie on my Facebook earlier. She was commenting and stuff.
I see Debbie all the time. I love seeing her name pop up. She's awesome. We appreciate her. Christine Rose says, woo, finally made it to at least part of Alive.
Hey, there we go. Glad you're here, Christine.
Awesome. Let's see here. Looking for any more questions. Christine Rose also said, got a mini fridge today. Want to try brine with smoked salt. Yeah,
it's a great thing to do. I do that sometimes with steaks. I'll do smoked salt. Smoked Redmond's salt is really good.
Reese's Clutter Kitchen says, I always cook pork chops in the air fryer. So good and simple to do. Never thought to put remoulade with them.
Yeah. Remoulade is a fantastic little addition. And yeah, you're right. The air fryer does an amazing job on pork chops. And I've done air fryer pork chops before, but this air fryer is really special, especially that fat that goes around the sides. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So good. We don't eat a lot of pork. Usually we do beef and chicken and eggs, some salmon, and that kind of stuff. But like pork is something, unless it's bacon, we don't eat a whole lot of pork around here, but on occasion it is very good.
Sandra Del Rio says, hi, made pork chops a few days ago and they were pretty bland and boring after this.
Well, this is kind of a fun way to do them. So I think next time you do them, maybe give this a shot, see what you think.
Cool. We've got a question here from Lynn Danielson.
Okay.
Do you prefer dry brining to wet brining? If so, why?
Yes, definitely do. The only time that I do a wet brine would be if I was doing something like a cured meat. Like when I do bacon, although technically when I do bacon, it's really not a wet brine so much as it is a measured bag cure because I'm putting a certain amount of salt on it based on the weight of the meat itself. And I put that inside of a bag so it can't dehydrate, and it technically is kind of a wet cure because all of the moisture of the bacon is what's coming out and dissolving the salt and whatever. I prefer dry brining to wet brining for a couple of reasons. One, it's easier because you don't have to put the brine into a container and then have a container to clean out and all that other kind of stuff. I can just wash off a rack or something. The other thing is if you're doing a wet brine, you have to measure how much salt you're using based on the amount of water, but you don't know how much water is also in the meat. So you're having to figure out where is the salinity of the liquid surrounding the meat compared to the meat itself. Based on how much water is or is not in there, you have to use a lot of liquid usually to cover it unless you're putting it inside of a Ziploc bag or something, which then that can even get funky. It can be difficult to measure, and if you use a wet brine and you over brine, then you have to put the meat back into water that doesn't have any salt in it, and then you have to kind of reverse brine where you take some of it back out. That's what they do when they do a wet cure on bacon. I just find dry brining to be much easier and much more accurate because I literally just season the meat how I would season it if I was about to cook it and eat it, and then I just set it in the refrigerator for a day or 2 or 3 and take it out and cook it. And because it's dry on the outside, you also get a really nice brown crust, and you just start after a day or 2, you just start to get a little bit of an aged flavor, almost like you were dry aging beef, which is a really highly sought after thing. You don't get a lot of it, but you get just a tiny little bit of that, especially if you do like a 3 or 4 day brine on a steak. You get just a little bit of an aged beefy flavor, which is really nice, but you don't have to cut off the outside because it's not dry like a hard outer crust that you have to trim off. You can still eat it. So that's just my preference. That's the reason I like to do it that way.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ronna Richardson, for starters, they are 25 days into the carnivore diet.
All right. Well, congratulations. You guys are about to hit a month long. That's congrats on that. Rock on.
Yeah, y'all put rock on in the comments. That's
Yep.
awesome. They also have a question.
Absolutely.
How long can you keep steak that you have salted and put on a rack in the refrigerator?
Honestly, as long as you would keep any other steak. Like, so the thing with beef is when you keep it cold, especially when you add salt to the outside of it and you're drying it and removing some of the excess moisture, it can go for a while. I mean, as long as it smells good, it doesn't smell like it's gone off, and as long as there's no like mold or anything growing on it, you can keep it for quite a long time. When you dry age meat, you know, like it actually starts to grow mold on the outside, and then they trim off the outside because it's a mold that is not toxic to us or, you know, in any way a problem, and they take off the outside, and that interior of the meat has kind of a fermented, almost wine-like kind of essence to it. So when you're doing a dry brine like that, if that steak is uncovered and it hasn't been contaminated, it's been salted and it's being dried out properly, I mean, you can probably go a week, maybe 2, without really even worrying about it. It just depends on how dry you're willing to let it become before you start to eat it. But as long as it doesn't smell bad, as long as it smells, you know, good and fresh and smells like beef the way it's supposed to, and there's no like mold or anything visibly wrong with it, you can go probably a week. I mean, you might be able to go a lot longer depending on just the environment in your refrigerator.
Sweet. Rana says, thank you so much. Going to try your carnivore bread soon.
Yeah, if you have any trouble with that recipe, let me know. That one does take a little bit of tweaking sometimes because different people's ingredients, different kitchens, different sizes of eggs, all that kind of stuff can affect it. So if you have any trouble with that carnivore bread recipe, please let me know and I'll be more than happy to help you get it right. Shoot me a message or an email or something.
Awesome.
So, but you may nail it the first time. A lot of people do.
Sweet. Babe, I think that's all of the questions for the evening.
Okay.
And I know you already mentioned health vlog coming out tomorrow.
Yep, the health vlog is coming out tomorrow.
Come Saturday, what delicious recipe are we sharing with
Yeah,
YouTube?
well, this was a little bit of a foreshadowing tonight. We did Cajun pork chops because on Saturday we're doing Cajun, carnivore, and keto dishes. So I'm doing a carnivore Cajun dirty rice, and I'm doing a keto Cajun jambalaya. Yep. It's going to be
so good.
It's going to be very good. It's going to be very, very special. So,
awesome.
Yeah, we're going to have a good time with that. So, if you guys have seen my fried rice video, that is going to be kind of the same technique for making the rice. Just not going to fry it enough to actually turn it brown. But, yeah, but we're basically going to make rice the same way with the egg whites like I do in the fried rice video. If you haven't seen that, make sure to go check that out. And you'll need lots of egg whites on hand to make the rice for our Cajun dirty rice and our jambalaya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People seem really excited about that.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love some good Cajun food?
Absolutely.
So good.
I've been getting a lot of requests for Cajun food. So
Yeah.
we're going to do some Cajun food. Guys, we've got a lot of more stuff coming. I'm working on a brand new YouTube studio upstairs in our extra room. And we're going to be doing more health videos and health vlogs, and I'm going to be doing some interviews with some people you guys might recognize the names. So make sure you go over and subscribe to the Chris Cooking Nashville Studios channel, which is linked down below, and say hello over there. I'm doing cool stuff over there. I'm going to be doing more cool stuff over here. We're filming not only the Cajun recipe videos, but we're going to be filming a little bit of a something for summer.
Yeah.
Just a little short fun thing for all of you out there looking for something refreshing for summer. And we got a lot more stuff coming. So let us know in the comments what you guys think. Let us know you were here. Say hello. Tell us what you guys are looking forward to. And we're going to be doing a whole bunch more of this. So thank you all for watching. Thanks for being backstage with Chris. Make sure to share the video. We love every single one of you guys. This is Chris Cooking Nashville. My beautiful wife, Ash Taylor, over there behind the camera. Make sure to go check out her single this Friday, Cigarette, on all of the platforms you can stream music. You guys make sure you eat your meat, love your life. We're going to see you here in the kitchen for recipes, music, health videos, all of that good kind of stuff coming soon. Bye, y'all.